Uasin Gishu. I want to take this great opportunity to welcome Right Honorable Speaker to the Senate, Kenneth Lusaka, to the County Assembly of Uasin Gishu, where the Senate will conduct their business for the entire 1 week. We really want to welcome all the senators, the leadership of the Senate, their staff, to the County Assembly of Uasin Gishu. Feel at home. We are really privileged that the Senate thought it otherwise to pick Uasin Gishu to be the first pioneers of Senate Mashinani. We are very thankful for that opportunity you have accorded us. What you have been able to do so that at least you enjoy your moment in Uasin Gishu have been marvelous. And we really appreciate, and we hope through the leadership of the Speaker that the facilities that you have given us will be able to remain with us so that we can continue enjoying. We shall really appreciate. Secondly, I want to inform the honorable senators that this county is a very privileged county in terms of weather, in terms of food, in terms of the environment. The people are very welcoming. They like greeting each other, and we hope for this 1 week you will be able to really feel what devolution, and you'll be able to discuss the issues that are affecting the devolution in real life scenario. In real life scenario where you will be able to get all the templates you need to get when it comes to devolution. And because the Speaker is in a hurry to attend to other matters, I don't want to really cover a lot of things. I hope we shall get time to cover it later. But I want to really welcome all the senators as we joined us for lunch. We have a very special meal that we all dear to ourselves called mursik. It is a somehow black in color, so make sure you have a taste, and you will really remember us for that. So welcome. I take this opportunity to now officially welcome Honorable Speaker Kenneth Lusaka. Can we all give him a befitting parliamentary clap? Welcome, Speaker.
Thank you so much, Speaker. Honorable senators, honorable members of the County Assembly, our technical staff. On behalf of the Senate, I want to thank you most sincerely for the warm reception that you have accorded us since our arrival yesterday, and we hope that it's going to improve and even be better for us at the period we shall be here. I want to say that this is historic because we are the first house since independence to implement Article 126, which says a house can have its sitting anywhere within Kenya. And today we are sitting within Kenya in Uasin Gishu as Senate. So we are very happy. We have decided to do that because Article 96 also gives us the mandate to take care of county governments and county interests. And that's why we have come to Mashinani to conduct our business here. We are joined at the hip, yourselves and ourselves, and like you can see, we have about 4 members who came from the County Assembly to the Senate. And therefore, this is a potential house for you if you work hard. So we just want to appreciate and assure you that count on us as Senate to defend you. This is going to be a vibrant Senate that will defend devolution. Those who are imagining that they can just wake up and scrape Senate are daydreaming and they belong to the past. We cannot go backwards. We are a progressive country, and one of the achievements of the Constitution, 2010 Constitution, was devolution. And therefore, taking us back to 1966, is it 66, when Majimbo was abolished and the Senate was abolished, is taking the country backwards. And we are not going to walk that route. We are here to defend. If anybody wants to scrape the Senate, then you are saying you want to do away with devolution. And I don't think that Kenyans are prepared to walk that journey. A lot of things have happened as a result of devolution, and you can see. So count on us. I know there are a number of things that you have brought to Senate, the issues of welfare, the issues of World Development Fund. There are many other issues that the Senate is dealing with, and I can assure you that all is not lost. We are going to do our best to ensure that we work in a harmonious harmonious way. I served as a governor, and therefore I know when I sit here now as a speaker, I understand both sides of the coin. And you can count on us, you can count on my leadership, and I'm happy that this has happened during my time. When the history of this country is written, at least I'll not only get a footnote, I think I'll get a chapter in that book when they're talking about how Senate went to Mashinani. The committees are going to be active, we are going to be in plenary, we are going to do everything. And of course, this afternoon, although I'm stepping out briefly, but this afternoon I can assure you of a very tough match. I know you know Senate have a bone to pick with you because you beat us in Kakamega after we beat governors, so we are looking forward to revenging this afternoon. Although you know you are champions in many things, but we're also champions in many things. So I think, I don't want to say so much, but I think we are happy. This is historic, and I want to thank the senators, because without the senators agreeing and voting that we come to Mashinani, it would not have happened. These are serious Kenyans. These are serious people who mean well for this country and who are out to ensure that devolution succeeds. And it was unanimous. They agreed that we come here, and you can see the turnout is very, very good. We know those who are not here are out of the country, but all those who are within the country are in Uasin Gishu today, and the nation will be watching us from here. Let me also thank you so much for what you are doing, because you are the first point of call when it comes to oversighting our county governments. Do it professionally, like the way we've always said, that you know we are not malicious, but you are just doing your work to ensure that money that has gone to the counties is accounted for and is used properly for the local mwananchi. If it's meant for drugs, let it go for drugs. And the fact that that's why we are inviting even governors to come, and I'm encouraging them to come, because when you come, then you clarify a lot of issues that would have been raised by the Auditor General. When you don't come, it's assumed that that is the position. And you see, sometimes they can even recommend adverse measures to be taken against you. But when you come, I think you are able to do that, to clear the air and have your county records properly spelled out. So I want to say thank you so much. I know we're going to have a lot of time, and wish you very, very fruitful discussions and deliberations, and we are happy as Senate to be here. Asanteni sana kwa kutukaribisha, and I know we shall interact more. So with those very many remarks, it's now my great pleasure, the things you are requesting, we'll look at what we can leave behind. Not everything, but at least we will see. But one of the things that we are going to do is to give you a chair, which you will now, it's my pleasure now to unveil this.
Very beautiful. It's better than ours.
I now want to install him in this chair. May you make the right judgments as you sit in that chair for the welfare of this country.
So on behalf of the County Assembly of Uasin Gishu, we really want to say thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Thank you very much for this gesture. at least we shall live to remember you. Thank you very much. And may the Lord continue blessing you so that you can do more for the counties. Asante.
Okay. Honorable Senators, Honorable of the County Assembly, it is now the pleasure of the Right Honorable Speaker to take his leave. Professor Kamar, member of the Speaker's panel, will take the chair. Thank you very much.
Honorable speakers, now we can resume our program as the program shared. So wish to now welcome Honorable Josephat Lowoi, leader of majority Uasin Gishu County Assembly, to make his remarks.
Thank you very much. Honorable the Senator to Uasin Gishu County Assembly, County, who is now taking on behalf of the Right Honorable Speaker of Senate, our Speaker to the County Assembly of Uasin Gishu, the Senators who are with us here today, honorable members. It's my pleasure to take this opportunity to welcome all of you, the Senators. Some of you have known Uasin Gishu by just hearing or reading. Now today you are here physically and you have a feel of Uasin Gishu. Mine is just to welcome all of you. Welcome to Uasin Gishu and have a feel of Uasin Gishu. Here is Eldoret, the headquarters of Uasin Gishu County. My request is just one. As we stay in Eldoret, as we stay here in Eldoret, I also want to ask you politely, and I'll pick on Senator Orengo. I'll drive you to my home so that you know how Uasin Gishu is. All the other senators, kindly attach yourself to one or two members of the county assembly. In the evening after our normal business, we can drive you around so that when we go back to Nairobi, you know Uasin Gishu. You just don't need to know Eldoret, but you need to know Uasin Gishu. At least enjoy it with us. Go and drink the mursik said by the speaker, the original one from Mashinani, because but you need to go and have a taste of the ones in our homesteads. So I don't want to take much time. We welcome you here as members of the County Assembly. We will be of service to you anytime you want assistance from us, the members. You've already known our names and I've said, kindly pick on one or two so that we also interact and have a network in ourselves. You know, for us as leaders, we need to grow that network so that maybe in the next 5 or 6 years, when we will be going to another county assembly, maybe some of us will be in that delegation. So I'm just asking that we start. Let me know you, know me, so that I can share with you in a personal range. I can share with you the challenges we are facing, and also maybe I can know. You can advise me, because as far as you're taking care of devolution, maybe you have much even to take care of me. You can even advise me on how to make sure that I stand as a leader and represent my people. So I don't want to say much. Welcome to Uasin Gishu. Feel free. It is a very safe county. You don't have to worry. We don't have a curfew, but we want to make sure that devolution works better. And if around this town, najua anasemanga Senate ni nyumba ya wazee, and I want to applaud you. National Assembly has been in the past, walikuwa wanasema wanashinda nyinyi, but saa hii hata sisi wananchi huko mashinani, we've started feeling the Senate. And now we can say it with authority that you are the upper house. Welcome the upper house to this house at home. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Speaker of the County Assembly will welcome Professor Kamar, and thereafter, Professor Kamar, who is chairing the session on behalf of the Speaker, will run the rest of the program. Right, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Clerk. I don't want to take a lot of time. I want to take this juncture to welcome the Honorable Senator, Professor Kamar, who is also the host and also the Senator of Uasin Gishu County, not from Uasin Gishu County, but of Uasin Gishu County, to make a few remarks, then we can proceed with the other program.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Senators, Honorable members of the County Assembly, I am very delighted today to stand here in this historical moment, not only for the County Assembly, but also for the Senate, to say a word of welcome to my colleagues from the Senate. When the idea was mooted of going out of the Assembly, initially, I was not even sure it was coming to Uasin Gishu. But when the House voted that it was coming to Uasin Gishu, I was really delighted. I felt honored, and I want to thank them most sincerely for that. Mine is to just say welcome to Uasin Gishu, the former White Islands, the land of maize, wheat, milk, and honey. And you'll be sampling a number of things, including mursik, over lunchtime. We are very, very delighted. I want to say that on behalf of the county government of Uasin Gishu, you will feel their presence throughout when you are here. I think you felt that you just had a test as you arrived, but you are really going to enjoy yourselves. I want to thank Mr. Speaker and the members of the County Assembly, because I came here with Honorable Petronila Were on behalf of minority, and Honorable Dulo on behalf of majority, and Senator Jebeni, who is a member of the delegates of Uasin Gishu County. We are well received. We went round. What we are seeing today is the completion of work that was going on at that time, and we say congratulations, Mr. Speaker, and your team. I want to thank the Senate team under the clerk that have been frequenting this place and working very closely with the County Assembly to make the place what it is today. Mine is to thank everybody, because being a host, you really have no words but to say thank you. But the program that is ahead of us is a very nice program. The way it was designed, I want to thank the House Business Committee of Senate for even allowing me to sit with them at some point to see how we can bring in the agenda of the Big Four. And they did a wonderful job to accommodate any variation that would make life, that would make it very lively in Uasin Gishu, and would make Senate even as relevant as possible. We know that Senate is going to sit in the usual manner. It will have its normal sittings of Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, but committee meetings have been used to accommodate public hearing sessions, and we are going to have two very important public hearing sessions. The public hearing session by the Committee of Agriculture and the ad hoc Committee of Agriculture is one that is extremely attractive. We will never have enough room for farmers here, but the hall is going to accommodate more than 500, about 500, and we think if we can accommodate 500, it will be great for us. There is also going to be a wonderful session that the Committee of Health is going to undertake in the MTRH, which is the second largest referral hospital, with the School of Medicine on the issue of the Big Four, affordable health. So that committee is going to do a great job. I'm saying this so that the Committee of Health, relevant Committee of Health, will know where to go in the County Assembly, so that you join them, join our committees. Our House Business Committee has been extremely generous that would like to work with the County Assembly relevant committees. And we are very happy when the Speaker of the County Assembly accepted that proposal and has said his committees are going to run parallel to the other, together jointly with the other committees during this week. So let's use it to our advantage. one other committee is going to prosecute a bill with the public. We'll be having a public hearing that is normally done in KICC. It is going to be the first time come out of the scenario that we have always had, and that's going to be the bill on PPP. So the committee is ready. We're expecting your committee of budget, I think, to do that. Our program is with you, so you should be able to take advantage of that. So there will be also sessions when our committees will be going out. Our roads committee will be going out. Please take advantage and join them. Because they'll be going to areas that are of interest to you, and they would like to know more how devolution 6 years down the road have impacted the people of Uasin Gishu in relation to what is going on, because all these senators have counties they have come from, and they would like to have a little bit of a test of what is going on in Uasin Gishu in comparison with what is going on in their places. Finally, I wanted to just mention that the opportunities being given in the committee sessions is to see whether there is room to do legislative, to create legislative interventions. And as you are aware, Honorable MCAs, senators are with you in the same role of representation, legislation, and oversight. So a lot of what is going to be discussed will be useful to all of us as we interact, we learn from one another, is look at the challenges that, that we have, and see where legislative interventions become a necessity. And the Senate is ready and up to the task to do that. So mine was just to say welcome remarks. I've touched on those so that I don't touch later, although I know our leaders of majority and minority will be making their remarks, touching on the program also. But I'm truly, truly delighted, and on behalf of the people of Uasin Gishu at large, we welcome the Senate to Uasin Gishu County. Thank you, and God bless you. Without much ado, therefore, may I invite the next speaker to make remarks, who is none other than the leader of minority, Senator James Orengo. Senator Orengo, people have missed you in this town. So some of these members were saying, are they coming? These seniors that we are seeing here, I think it is so nice that all of you are here. Look at the senior senator, former Minister of Education, Ongeri. People have been wanting to see you people here. And by the way, when they say the House of Elders of Waze, we are now getting excited to be Waze ourselves, be part of that club, because they have a lot of respect for the members. It is now called House of Wisdom. It is now called House of Wisdom, and we also have, though a minority, a young group, we have youth in that House of Wisdom, and you will be able to see their participation. With those remarks, may I therefore invite the Honorable Senator James Orengo to make his remarks.
Mr. Speaker, sir, or Madam Speaker, legislators from the County Assembly and the Senate, I thank the Almighty for making it possible for us to gather here today in Eldoret. And I want to say, I don't think it was an accident that the Senate chose to come here in Eldoret. Out of 47 counties in the entire republic, we did not go through a process of voting, as it were. We did not put a hat with ballots for somebody to pick, but somehow through the unanimous decision of the House, we decided to come here to Eldoret. And I think this is, speaks to Uasin Gishu County. Now, I want to say probably three things. One, this part of the country has produced some of the best men and women in this republic. And I want to honor some of them by our appearance here because we are a legislature. Let you not be cheated. I think if you go to the records, the best parliamentarian in terms of debate and knowing standing orders and even presiding over sessions of parliament was Jean-Marie Serone. If you go to the archives and look at the debates that took place in his time, Jean-Marie Serone shaped parliament as we know of it today at a very difficult time. Then there was the indomitable Philomena Shelogat Mutai. She was a lady and a half and a man and a half. I think, again, you need to go to the records. It was a very difficult time. And this lady, whenever she was in the house, it was quite a different place because of her contribution. And then even when Kenya is doing very badly, people from this region make us proud every day, and the latest of which was Eliud Kipchoge. You know, all the networks in the world were just wondering about this man who had broken all the records in the marathon. So there are so many things. And of course, you are the food basket of the Republic of Kenya. And we are going to say something about farmers also in our session. Now, the other thing that I wanted to say is just to appreciate the importance of the legislatures. Sometimes it's important to look at the structure of our constitution. The hierarchy of institutions as inbuilt in our constitution. People think that the executive is the most important institution in this country. But if you go by the order of the constitution, Article 1, Sub-Article 3, it says the sovereign power of the people is delegated to parliaments. In Article 1, Sub-Article 3.1, it is delegated to parliaments and the legislatures in the counties. That is number one. Number two is delegated to the national executive. Number three, to the judiciary. Now, if you come to the order of the executive at the national level, again, parliament comes before the executive. And I wish the governor was here. If you come to the counties, Article 176, it says the county governments consist of county assemblies and the county executive. The county assemblies come before the county executive. And I don't think that the framers of the Constitution put it that way for nothing. And then when you come to amendments to the Constitution, Parliament may have its way, but the county assemblies must have their say if it is an amendment of the Constitution through the popular will. So I like to say, and I think I was in a discussion in which we were trying to harmonize how we send delegations to International Association of Parliamentarians at the Commonwealth and at the international level. We were at a conference in LA where Nigeria had representation. Although this time around I think we carried some counties, but we had representation from the states in Nigeria. In South Africa there was a huge representation from the provincial governments, the assemblies in the provincial governments. So we matter, we are important, and your say has got the force of law and the Constitution in the country. My third remark is about the adjustments which have been made to the budget. And, you know, in raising revenue at the national level, and particularly taxation, it is the role of the national government. You will just get a percentage as determined by Parliament, and also depending on what the government of the day says. But right now, there's a likelihood that there's going to be a reduction of allocations that are coming to the counties. But I say if that allocation has to take place for the future, we need to work together so that if ever there's a reduction, again, of money coming to the counties, then raising of revenue should be a shared responsibility between the counties and the national government. Otherwise, the position that should be taken is that if they don't raise sufficient revenue, if there's any cutbacks, those cutbacks should only be applied to the national government and should not affect the county government. Because what we're getting is a very small percentage of the national revenue. So I think that debate is coming at some point, and I think if we are able to speak with one voice, it may be able to strengthen counties, and more particularly county assemblies and Senate. Finally, Mr. Speaker, sir, I hope you will take part in this debate that without counties, I'm addressing the Speaker of the County Assembly, that Senate is critical. And I'm glad that the majority leader said as much. And by the way, I'm ready and prepared to go with you. So long as you promise to go with me to Siaya. Yeah. You know, Senate is an important institution if we are going to have counties and devolve government. Without it, it can't work. And you know, the first Senate, when they wanted to get rid of the regional governments, the first step was to, get rid of the Senate. The second step was to reduce revenue going to the regional governments. I am praying that both of us, as Senate and the county assemblies, we should not allow these two things, the abolition of the Senate and the reduction of revenues that are coming to the counties. That is a war we can fight together, and I'm sure we will win. Other than that, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker and Madam Speaker, and I hope this week is going to be a very useful and fruitful week for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Orengo. The next person to make remarks on behalf of the majority is Senator Mohamud.
Members of the Senate, members of the County Assembly of Uasin Gishu, let me also join my colleagues. First of all, for thanking God for us to be here today in Uasin Gishu, the Senate sitting this week in this county. I think it's very important that the Senate of Kenya has decided to come here. In fact, the choice of Eldoret is very unique. I happen to have done my research for my thesis of MSc in Eldoret some years back at the Eldoret sewage works discharging into Soshani River. That was my MSc in environmental. So I know this town very well that time. And in fact, I'm happy that at least I'll be able to get my bearing back. Many times also when I used to work in water development, I think I've gone to that hall where now the governor sits, because the water supply program of this county, which was funded by KFW, was a very elaborate program. At one time, this city had the best water supply in Kenya. I hope the county assembly and the government of the executive of the county assembly, of Uasin Gishu, will actually bring that back so that the water supply of this town is adequate for the residents of this county. Madam Speaker, Mr. Speaker, the Senate, and Article 96 of the Constitution, stays there to protect the county and its governments. I sit in the Budget and Finance Committee, which I chair. In fact, our preoccupation is always funding to the counties. In fact, we don't even talk about funding to the Senate. What we look out for normally in the budget process is what do the counties get. To that extent, Senate actually takes the interest of the counties very seriously. Those of you who engaged us last time when we were discussing the budget realized that when we were looking at the expenditure in terms of recurrent expenditure for the county assemblies and executive, you know what you have done in terms of increasing the expenditure for the executive, the assembly, in terms of the recurrent expenditure, because the executive has a lot of leeway to, pitch money from here and there, but you guys have no particular, no other avenues. So we made sure that at least every county assembly got more than about 30+ million shillings in terms of their expenditures or recurrent expenditure. We will continue working with you. In fact, as mentioned by my colleague, the tendency in the country by the national executive is actually sometimes to look at, to do things that actually also violate the Constitution. We have heard in the press that the revenue to the counties is going to be reduced by about 9 billion. You can only do that if you have changed the Division of Revenue Act. You cannot legislate in the National Assembly through appropriation, which is supplementary appropriation, to change money of the county. That's illegal, actually, unconstitutional. When it comes to us, I think we look at it and see, we will, of course, stand our ground. And the noises that are in this country today, some guys will come and say, we will chase away the Senate. First of all, to change the structure of governance, including parliament, you need a referendum. You cannot do through just a bill by a parliamentarian to the House. So I think there are a lot of things people don't know, a lot of ignorance which are being professed by our leaders, but we will, of course, continue fighting. We're here with you this time. We'll have committee meetings. We will engage with the relevant committees. I will personally, my committee will meet the Budget and Appropriation Committee, including the executive CEC member, to go through the process of budgeting, how we do things. I think we need to benefit from one another. We'll also have the public hearing on public-private partnership bill, an amendment which was initiated by the National Assembly. It's very important for the counties also to come in so that they can actually engage private sector in terms of funding. I think the law is very important, so we'll also have a public hearing on Thursday. So we want your contribution and also tell the stakeholders who are here to come. That aside, I think the friendship that we are going to cultivate while we're here is important. And as we begin now, I think the leadership of the Senate, we will of course go into other counties. We'll be the pioneer county that we have come to for the first time. And I think we'll make the best out of it. Let's engage one another this week properly. Let us profile it properly, I think especially for our people in the fourth estate, so that this is actually given prominence. I think unfortunately the news in Kenya always talk about who raped who killed who. We want this news to be the news in Kenya, that Parliament and the citizens are sitting together. Let's not have the news which is very flashy and unnecessary. Those many remarks on behalf of my majority leader. I thank you very much. Asanteni sana, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Senator Mahmoud. Now we are going to give a few, this is an open session. We'll invite a few people who would like to say a few words. I, of course, don't want to come in between you and your inaugural joint lunch. It is another history in the making. So but we'll allow a few remarks and a few contributions from both sides of the House. I would like to take the first go. Yes, Senator Abshiro, and then Senator Ongeri, and then the Deputy Speaker, and the two members. Thank you. 1 minute each.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker and Mr. Speaker. The reason why I wanted to be one of the first to say something is because I come from Isiolo County, but I'm actually a product of Uasin Gishu County. I went to school here at Moi Girls Eldoret, and it is where I have learned a lot of the things and a lot of the values that, in addition to my parental guidance that I got. So as I came to Uasin Gishu today as a senator, it was with a very emotional feeling that I'm actually coming back home where my early education started and therefore I owe this county, and I'm very grateful to this county. And as a product of a system that worked. Therefore, I would like to urge our members of the county assembly, if we do nothing else, let's ensure our systems work. That is how a girl from Isiolo County can come and study in Uasin Gishu County and come back to the Senate many years later and be a citizen of this country that has the understanding of the culture of Uasin Gishu, the culture of Isiolo, the culture of Northern Kenya, and therefore all that mixture makes us really, a very diverse thinker, a very, somebody that can live anywhere and somebody that can contribute. And therefore, I feel very proud of this county. I feel very happy to be here today, and I feel at home, but to say that I look forward to working with my counterparts in this county to now give back what I got in my early education, and I thank you.
Thank you. Senator Ongeri.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and Speaker of the County Assembly, senators, members of the Uasin Gishu Assembly. I come here with a certain level of nostalgia. Having been the Minister for Local Government and having addressed the councillors in this hall and in the other hall, it now dawns on me that indeed legislation does take effect. From the CAP 265, where the Minister for Local Government has the absolute authority to direct and to do that is possible within and without the law on behalf of the county assemblies, county governments, and the town councils. Now there is the reality of devolution, which has come with its inaugural period being between the senators who are in charge of this county, the county governments, by law and by connection, away with a very clear set mandates. And these mandates are of legislation. You are in a very unique position. I sit in the Public Accounts Committee, and some of the oversight work ought to be done by the county assembly, because it's not easy for us to be able to handpick whether a particular project in Section A has been completed to our satisfaction. And therefore it behooves upon you to be able to do a thorough oversight role. And no one should underrate your responsibility in as far as this matter is concerned, because you draw your powers from the creature of the Constitution itself. And that's why we've come here to strengthen one another, that there are certain areas that you can oversight very effectively, and that we need to do other areas of oversight that need to be done. And another area is in education. It's good to know that we're now going through a process of educational reforms. And you know, education of our children is a very sensitive matter that we need to take to heart on every step that must change. And before you give effect to the legislation that will govern the new educational reforms, I think the work that you do at the county assembly levels through your legislation, and what we do at the Senate, particularly the ECDs, is very important. And I'm glad that both the current speaker, now the speaker on the chair, Madam Professor Kamar, and myself one time shared a docket. I was the Minister for Education, for Basic Education. She was the Minister for Higher Education. So in us, we have a plethora of very many good news for you, that I think we can fix these educational programs within our counties to the full advantage without everything. And of course, we want you to be your masters in your own way. That's why we've come to benchmark with you, and I'm looking forward to a very exciting moments. One of them I've already seen is having been the chairman of Kenya Athletics. You continue being the champions. At the time, I thought I only had Henry Rono and Ben Chipcho and Julius Sang, who are really the pacemakers in the world, and as their chair with Kipchoge Keino and many others, I felt that I was great. But these days, I've been trying to urge my Kisii counterpart to follow your footsteps, and I think we'll soon catch up with you. And this will be a very healthy competition, just as like we also say, to be healthy competition between what you do in the Assembly and what we do in Senate. I'll have more opportunity to make more remarks on the ordinary during our regular plenary sessions and at the committee stages, but for now, suffice it to say, we're very excited to be in this town, in this city, which is multi-ethnic, which is also a city that takes everybody on board. And it's a pleasure to be here. I thank you, Madam Speaker, and the Speaker of the County Assembly.
Thank you, Senator. Next is Honorable Singoe David. Keep with.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, Senators, my colleagues, members, County Assembly. I just want to maybe make a few remarks. One is, of course, to say welcome to Uasin Gishu, as we have already said. Number two is, I think what Honorable the senior said, because Honorable Sam Ongeri, what we do in the pick and pack, because I also happen to be a member of that committee, we need to sit with the Senate so that we don't duplicate and take so much man hours actually dealing with the auditors general remarks on what the executive do. We need to sit and say, where do the Assembly start and where will the Senate start? So that when we have exhausted, and I think you said it well, that we are the ones actually who know. Like today, if I told you there is a bridge called Kimpilio, you don't even know where that is. I can even take you to a bridge that was built in 1948 and tell you that we did it as an executive. But we know as members of the County Assembly, because we deal with the budget, so I think we need to sit and discuss so that what we have been defeated here on the ground, you can take it up there and maybe just complete it from that end. I think that is what we need to discuss. And number two, I want to request the Senate that let all that has been devolved be devolved with the resources. Please let us all look at all these schedules, like Schedule 1, 2, or Schedule 4, Schedule what. Let us all look at that because we are having problems with agriculture, and we would like that agriculture to be fully devolved with the funds so that we don't have a Kilimo house with all the officers just standing around in their chairs and doing a lot of nothing when the farmers are actually suffering. So that is my request, and I think this is the opportune time because we're in Uasin Gishu, you are here, we are here. We will discuss all that so that that can be taken care of. I want to finish by saying the only function that we do not want to be devolved, even asymmetrically, is corruption. Let that stay in Nairobi. Let the national government do that function, and they are doing it so well. So we want that one to stay there. We don't want it in our counties. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator Francis. Honorable Francis Moya.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I want to add my voice. First of all, I'm really privileged to be in one sitting with our leaders. I was giving an example of Honorable Jimmy Orengo, whom have been an admirer of all of us, whom are in government and in opposition, because whenever he speaks, you like his mind. That's the route we want to go. Madam Speaker, I have been privileged to serve as a councillor, the first MC and now the second MCA, and I have institution memory. Madam Speaker, when I was a councillor, when Professor Ongeri was the minister then, yes, we were very small people, but we had powers on the ground. How? The few coins we were given to make sure that the development goes to the ground, at least Wananchi could have a feel that this is our elected leader who is pushing these things. But with the devolved system of government, which I'm not complaining, Madam Speaker, I would like the Senate to relook into how we are marrying together with the executive. Yes, there is separation of power. But again, below the executive, we have so many people below the governor, and they are bringing what I can call bureaucracy or confusion to wananchi. Why? I'll just give an example of what we call ward administrator. I don't want them be scrapped. But when these honorable members are trying to stamp their authority as the representative of the people, I think somewhere, someplace, and you can attest to this, that there are counties where there is push and pull between the honorable MCAs and the so-called ward administrators. Why? These are, I don't want to call them busybodies, but they don't have mandate per se. I'm sorry to say so. Why? I think honorable MCAs would like to dispense their mandate of oversight, representation, and legislation. But wananchi down there, they don't understand that the execution of the work is not meant for the MCAs. But sometimes it brings confusion where the governors goes on the ground where there is maybe, you find maybe there are counties which want to bring total separation of powers. We admire counties like Makueni, where we hear there is proper public participation on the ground. Therefore, the Senate has a mandate whereby we can bring a unifying factor to all counties in the Republic so that we have, by 20 years down the line, we can say now we have seen the fruit of devolution. There are counties where there are disconnect, total disconnect between the executive and the county assemblies. Therefore, it is the mandate of the Senate, because you are the protector of devolution, to make sure that the two works together, so that by the end of the day, because we are representing one person, wananchi, they get the value of the taxpayers' money. Having said that, Madam Speaker, I would like to see the Senate. You have come here today saying that you'd like to see or to empower or to see county assembly doing their oversight role. Remember, in our first government, I say that I served as a first MCA, but it reached a point where we were fought from right, left, center, such that we almost shied away doing our mandate, because whenever cases were brought to Senate that so-and-so have not done his or her mandate, all those cases were thrashed or they were thrown away. Therefore, it's a high time, because I can see Senator Jimmy Orengo and those who served there. We need to bring this back so that the honorable MCAs can stamp their authority that such and such a thing has not been done right on the ground, and it is my mandate as an MCA to do proper oversight before it is taken over by the Senate. Because now you find that Senate are oversighting something that has not yet been dealt by the county assembly. Those issues need to be dealt with so that Mwananchi down there can see, can clearly see what is the role of the Senate, what is the role of the county assembly, and what is the role of the National Assembly. By so doing, I think Kenya will be blessed, and we go far, as I give an example of Singapore, where I was privileged to go. Singapore was turned around in a generation. Why can't we do that in Kenya? May God help us to reach there. May God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, I have 5 requests and I have 5 minutes remaining. So please take 1 minute. I'm going to do the timing now. I think I saw, was the Honorable Jobe? Who was? Yes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, our Honorable Speaker, Honorable Senators, and my fellow Honorable Members of County Assembly. I first and foremost, I wanted to applaud this session. I want to say today we are making history in Kenya for having Senate machinani because of their constitutional and legal mandate. I just want to touch on our assurance as members of the County Assembly, given that you senators, you are the custodians and you protect and consider matters pertaining counties, and that is devolution. We just want to give you an assurance that despite all the pronouncements that we are hearing in funerals, in churches, wherever, pertaining Senate, we want to give you an assurance that we are really for that, because the real Mwananchi currently, they are really appreciating the new structures and of devolution. It's only that we want to humbly and request you. I know somebody could have mentioned this. There are some legislation that are pending before you. We are humbly and requesting that kindly expedite the same so that we can enhance on our functions as members of the County Assembly and you as our fathers of devolution.
Thank you.
The other team, I just want to tell you, they are foster fathers and they have no business to do with the counties. Otherwise, we want to thank you, and we really appreciate what you are doing. Thank you very much, and may God bless all of us.
Thank you. 1 minute, Senator Olekina.
Okay, thank you. Madam Speaker, I'd like to just address a couple of things. I'm very happy to be here today. And I think we are missing a big chance. When you look at the way the laws used to be made by the county councils, that mandate was squarely on either the government now and the minister, the government in terms of the minister. Now it's your responsibility. I think a lot of things that you can do, and this is what we're doing in the Senate. There's a lot of private member bills which we are coming up with. In fact, I want to share with you that I've got a couple of bills that one of them we're going to be discussing this week that deals with county planning, and pavements and roads, and how you be able to plan them. Because that bill can be able to help you, even when you sit in this house, know that the county government of Uasin Gishu will make a certain amount of money in this particular year based on the number of parking spaces that you have. That is something very, very important. One of the things that really, really get to me is that when we had county councils, we used to get a lot of revenue coming from county councils. Now, I think you guys have just sat down and decided, let us depend on money coming out from the national government. You need to change that. And the only way you can change that is through coming up with very serious legislation. All these things we're talking about here as a challenge has to do with legislation. Finally, one thing that is called public participation. It is really sad. Recently, we were discussing the energy bill, the petroleum bill. This is something that affects you. We put in the newspaper that we want to talk to you about these bills. You don't come. All these challenges. And this issue of Ward Development Fund, because it's the biggest problem. I think we need to figure out and say, what is our role as legislators? Because sometimes we sort of like washed away by thinking that we can do a better job if we have a lot of money to be able to do a lot of development. If you had more money to do oversight, that would really help you be able to help the people in the situation. Otherwise, thank you, and I'll get an opportunity to talk to you more. Thanks.
Thank you. One minute, Senator Petrolila, Wera Logorio. Have a minute.
Half a minute, yeah, I will not take long. I will just want to thank you for welcoming us here, and I want to let you know that we will be collaborating, and this is just the beginning of our collaboration. Within the Senate, there is a caucus. Some members are part of that caucus that already has funds from a donor to help us link up with the county assemblies. So you'll be seeing more of these collaborations. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Mercoretti. 1 minute.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and honorable members. My area is in article of the Constitution, Article 197, where it talks about gender balance. We really want to appreciate the Constitution, but the problem that we have is that as much as we have the nominated MCS representing certain group, they are not accompanied with any funds that they can assist those groups that they are representing. So as a Senate, we are requesting that you do some allocation for the nominated MCAs so that they can also be able to perform their responsibility. We didn't come here to be rubber stampers as majorly women. We want to do our work to the women and the youth and the rest of the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Malala. 1 minute.
Thank you, Speaker. Today I feel very confident to be here because when I'm in the Senate, I'm always intimidated by some of the leaders here. And he's not around. I wish he was around. Anytime I stand up, he tells me, you think this is the county assembly? Now we are in the county assembly. Do what you can do. But most importantly, Speaker, I think it is important. It is important that I encourage you as members of county assembly. I want to encourage you to partake your duties diligently because all is possible. When I see you, when I look at your faces, I see great leaders. In future, I want to ask you to take the courage of even vying for seats like Senate after Professor has completed her 4 terms in office. You can take that courage because whatever you are saying can only be articulated if you have one of your own in the Senate. When I stand in the Senate and speak about the importance of having a ward development fund, sometimes logic cannot prevail because most of us in the Senate have not been where you are as members of county assembly. But if you have a number of former members of county assembly in the Senate, I can assure you the agenda of strengthening devolution will be achieved. The issue of ward development, and I want to state it here, the Constitution is very clear. And I think it's just a matter of interpretation. And the Constitution can be interpreted to favor us in some times. The role of a member of county assembly is basically oversight, that is correct, legislation, that is correct, and representation. And when it comes to representation, you need to represent the people in terms of development. And therefore the Constitution provides for you to have enough machinery, enough resources to represent your people in terms of development. And therefore, the Ward Development Fund can never be unconstitutional. We are fighting for that. Having been a member of County Assembly, I know the importance of Ward Development Fund, and honorable members here have alluded to the same thinking that we are going to ensure that you have a Ward Development Fund so that you can stand on a platform in 2022 and say that I did this, and I did this. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Senator Mary Senator, and then the last will be Senator Arkura. 1 minute, we are done.
Indeed, Madam Speaker and Mr. Speaker, we are very proud to be in your county. This is one of the counties that have given us one of the women senators. And therefore, we are proud to be here and we celebrate you. When I was doing introduction, I didn't say that I am the interim chair for KEOSA. And therefore, I want to say 2 things in regards to gender. Madam Speaker and Mr. Speaker, I want to urge women from the county assembly to be very vigilant in terms of a gender-sensitive budget. When I say this, I want you to be very vigilant in support of that money that goes to the programs which help women in the county. We need to look at those budgets and make sure that one of the biggest allocation that goes to our budget is on health. Because when we help health, we shall have helped our mothers and our sisters to make sure that they live a healthy life together with our brothers and our husbands who are also with us here. So I think another thing, we also need to look at, pay attention to issues to do with mainstreaming of gender programs. When we have our programs going to our counties, we must make sure that they are gender sensitive. We support both women, we support both youth, we also support even women, men programs. I also want to urge the assembly in totality, not only women in this case, but all of you. Power is not given, power is taken. It's grabbed. When I hear you talk about agriculture and health, yesterday we had a good time. We went to Malaba and Trans Nzoia the other day and Bungoma for the issue of maize. Our farmers are really crying. And agriculture is a default function. And you should stand your feet and tell your governors through the Council of Governors that they must make the loudest noise with you people to make sure that nothing in agriculture is still with the national government. Issues of fertilizers, issues of national cereal boards, issues of seeds, everything that pertains agriculture must come to counties. And you must make noise with us so that the CS, the ministry, get to know that they are only remaining with policy in terms of agriculture.
Thank you.
Likewise, health. Madam Speaker, I hope you would have given me 1 minute. Health is a very important concept and a very important sector in this country. The health committees of Senate and the counties assemblies and the Council of Governors must stand to make sure that we have an enough allocation to health. When you go to our counties today, you go to those small dispensaries in your wards, like in my county. You get wards with dispensaries with no labor bed. Mama atazalia wapi kama hata ana kitanda ya kujisalia. You get wards with no power. Mama atasaa kuagiza. So let us make sure that the little budget we get, even before Madam Chair, we talk of, Madam Speaker, we talk of more allocation for oversight. Let us talk of more allocation of monies going to health in our counties. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you. Have a minute, Senator Argura.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and Mr. Speaker. I'd like to join my colleagues to appreciate that as a Senate, we have taken it upon ourselves to make sure that we engage the county assemblies so that we can effectively represent the counties. Madam Speaker, I'd like to urge the MCAs, members of the county assembly, that funds are being allocated to the counties, and it's the responsibility of the county assembly members and the senators to oversight the county governments. But Article 96 of the Constitution states that the Senate oversights the funds which are allocated from the national governments, which means the county assemblies must make sure that they oversight the locally generated revenues. What we have realized of late is that the county governments are even collecting less than what the county council and the municipalities used to collect, despite the fact that you have more, the governors have more ability in terms of structures, in terms of personnel, to collect more funds. It's not that the funds are not being collected, but they are not being accounted for. So mine is to urge you to make sure that at that level, whatever is generated by the community within the county is used to serve the community. And also in terms of oversight, what we get are the auditors' reports, which are just financial audits. But you are the ones who are in a position to make sure that those funds are actually used on the ground. Please let's concentrate on make sure that our people get value for money which the national government and the county government generate. That way we can effectively represent them. Otherwise, the oversight, the auditor's report might not actually assist us in oversight. Let's go beyond that. Thank you.
Thank you. I can see somebody on a point of order. Senator Kabaka, is it a point of? Okay, have a second, have a minute because I thought it was a point of order.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and Mr. Speaker, sir. I've listened keenly to what most of the raft of the contribution members have given. But
one thing I've learned and of essence which I need to advise the members of the county assembly, vis-a-vis even more so members of county assembly, vis-a-vis the senators, is that if you look at the constitutionalism or the constitution as it is, you need to be very careful when you are dealing with governors. The governors, as we are given in the constitution, they are demigods. They are small presidents. And you need to be careful for that you will not, like they say, go to bed with them. If you do that, because I'm sure because of the party politics, which most of us come from, you'll find that certain members will become very clever in court and start, liaising with the governors. That way, governors will bribe you. Governors will going to influence your mind thoughts. So you need to be very careful if you are going to do the oversight as enshrined in the Constitution. If you don't do that, then I'm telling you, you won't succeed in this noble function. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Senators, honorable members, I think we come to an end. I know I have not finished. I saw some 2 hands here, I saw another 2 hands here. We have not finished, but we have opportunities during the plenary, during the committee stage to express ourselves more. And we have said, I said earlier, there are provisions in this for interactive sessions in almost everything that Senate is going to do. So you'll have very good opportunities. Before I give the speaker to have his last word and to close the meeting officially, I would like to bring your attention to the program. We have a very tight program that will go up to 8 in the night. I'm told that dinner in Uasin Gishu doesn't end at 7. It goes beyond 7, it goes to 8. Because Mursik is not served in daylight, it should be served when there is darkness. So we start with 2 to 4, the ball games, which is going to be in 20 minutes, so we need to rush and have our lunch now. So after lunch, we go straight to the stadium. The sports club will be guided, and we'll have the 3 sports going on. And the lunch is served right behind us in the dome here. Then there will be a meeting of the Senate leadership with Uasin Gishu County leadership. The speaker was called for an urgent meeting, but he will be back to lead that delegation. And then the staff exchange program, directorates will be meeting at 2:30 with the staff of the county assembly. Then from 4 to 5, that is a secretariat program. So we are not. So what is really concerning us is the ball games after lunch, and then back to the reception of the governor. Time change to 6. Yeah, so it starts at 6 in Boma. So it starts at 6 in Boma. So that gives us enough time to freshen up after the sports. With those remarks, once more, I want to say thank you very much, and thank you for your wonderful participation in this session. This has been very fruitful, but we have opportunities during the week. God bless you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for such a fruitful discussion. Mine is just to summarize, and I will give the Deputy Speaker to give a vote of thanks. What I want to assure both the honorable houses, especially the Senate, is that county assemblies will protect the Senate. So if anybody is thinking otherwise of scrapping the Senate, I can assure you, you have 100% protector when it comes to that. And we also like the Senate to protect counties, especially the county assemblies. And if anything was to be done in terms of slashing the budget, which I think is against the law when it comes to what has been appropriated under the CARA Act, kindly protect us, because the few resources we have, we don't want to be taken away, so that it cripples the devolution agenda. Thirdly is on the issues that we really look at when it comes to counties and we have the challenges, is the issue of public participation. Currently, I think there should be a bill that guides public participation, because we are kind of duplicating the public participation, because you will get the executive will go to public participation. When the document arrives in assemblies, we also go to public participation, and then the people will ask you, you didn't get the information I had said, why are you asking me again? And we know very well, county assemblies, the MCAs, and even parliament are the representative of the people. So the right forum to take public participation is actually county assemblies and parliament. So to think otherwise, so that we don't get this mvutano of, this was a document we had said, did you not capture what we had said? So there should be a proper bill in terms of guiding the process of public participation, and make sure that also what the public have said, how is it made sure that it is captured by having an authority that can check that whichever the public had said has finally been captured in that given document. Another issue in summary that we really need your support in as county assemblies is the issue of Ward Development Fund. I think I had explained when we were meeting with the leadership. In terms of equity for the projects that are supposed to go to the mashinani, it is very important that Ward Development Fund will bring that equity, so that if the MCA is not in terms with the governor, it doesn't jeopardize the people in that ward from getting the development they deserve. The other thing we have been having issues that has just cropped up is the issue of amendment of County Government Act 2012. We know there are some people who went to court and tried to say that the Deputy Speaker's office is not legally there. So we really urge the Senate, as I know currently you are discussing on the issue of the County Government Act, so that you amend it. Make sure that the office of the Deputy Speaker is enshrined in that law, so that at least it can be a proper working office and given the instruments it deserves, because you cannot have a speaker that doesn't have a deputy. And we know very well, even the Senate, you have a deputy speaker, the National Assembly, you have a deputy speaker, and we don't see the reason why somebody can think otherwise, that when it comes to the county assemblies, you don't have to have a deputy speaker. Those are the issues that we currently have. The other issue is the issue of pension to members who have served. Maybe to summarize it, what we are looking at in county assemblies, we are looking at a situation whereby we have parliament, which is the national, and we have county assemblies, which serves the county government. What is done in parliament should be a replica of what is done in county assemblies. The only thing that should be of variance is the issue of equity, so that you only vary equity, but what the members of parliament are enjoying, also the members of the county assemblies should be enjoying the same in an equitable manner. As I finalize, there's the issue of the Integrated Relations Act that is coming up. We want to make sure that at least we have a body as county assemblies that is anchored in law, that is supposed to be just like the Council of Governors. We also have CAF. So we want to see a situation whereby the Senate takes up, so that we can have CAF enshrined in law. And lastly, another monster that we have been dealing with is public in the Senate, that they are looking at amending it. Let us protect what the developers of our constitution wanted us to protect. That is to ensure that the function of county assemblies is actually to approve the budget. So if you have a PFM Act that also curtails the county assemblies from being in control of that budget by introducing the issue of saving like 1%. We want that clause, which is a regulation, and it is not supported by our constitution, to be removed, so that county assemblies can properly manage the issue of budget. And lastly, it is what I've been talking about. Currently, there is a regulation that says that we can only amend up to 1%. And the Constitution has provided that role of budget-making process to the assemblies. Now you have an act which is inferior to the Constitution that purports to negate that. So as you are looking at that bill, I don't know where it came from, but it is something that you need to look at. And I know current proposals is that to move it to 10%. But our proposal as county assemblies is that remove it altogether and also give the county assemblies the control of their budget. The control, when it is passed by the CARA Act, it is adopted so that we can support the issue of oversight, because without the monies to do the oversight, then we become moribund, and it now gives a key where the county government can be able now to control the agenda of the county assemblies. I think with those few remarks, I know it is already lunchtime and we really want to enjoy our lunch. I want to give the Deputy Speaker to pass a vote of thanks. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. On behalf of the leadership of this assembly and the members of the County Assembly, I would kindly wish to take this opportunity to appreciate the session that we've had and continue to welcome our honorable senators, very able senators. And it is a great history to us, particularly the second assembly of this honorable house. Would wish to take this opportunity to thank our able Senator Kamar and the entire team from the Senate. We are looking forward in these few days on how we will be able to partner with Senate in various issues. I hope the seniors, Professor Samongeri, Senator Orengo, will be able to define for us. We have a thin line between oversight and what we call malice. And I think what our able senator said, that at times we compromise with the executive, is because we've not defined that line. Otherwise, I want to inform the House that this was a very privileged House where we had, out of 30 members representing various wards, about 15 of them came back. And I think we went to history in Kenya. And we are expecting also by 2022, we'll be sending quite a number of our honorable members to various houses, particularly the parliament and not the Senate, because we will still have Senator Kamar. But quite a number of us will be coming to the national parliament. I've already declared interest. I've served for 2 terms. And that is the way to go. If you have a passion to serve people, then God will still reward you. So I cannot adjourn this session because I don't have that power. I will return back to Honorable Senator Kamar, who will then adjourn this Honorable House. Thank you so much.
Thank you, honorable members and honorable senators. It is now with pleasure that the House stands adjourned until